Hello and welcome to episode 88 of the Accountant Success Secrets podcast. Each week we talk with an accountant whose journey we hope will inspire others in practice. I'm one of your co-hosts, Mark Lee. I'm a mentor, speaker and debunker for accountants and founder of the Soul Practice Club.
And I'm the other one, Philippa Haynes, brand strategist for accountants and bookkeepers, helping you to stand out for all the right reasons. So our interviewees are all different. They have different backgrounds, different goals, different reasons for setting up their practice, and different experiences along the way.
And we explore their stories, the highs, the lows, and the lessons learned, what makes them tick and what others can take away.
Yeah, and the goal is simple. It is about useful insights that you can take with you and apply into your business straight away.
And if you'd like to share your story in a future episode, do please get in touch. We're now lining up guests for April and May.
So today, in our 71st interview, we are delighted to introduce Debbie Warburton, who is an award-winning accountant running GW & Co Accountants and Business Advisors. She's based in Penryn, lucky thing, in Cornwall. Debbie has been working in the accountancy sector since she left school at the age of 17. She qualified with the AAT in 1992 and then with ACCA in 2001. She originally joined the firm as practice manager and is now, she became a partner, but she now leads the team herself, offering a full range of accountancy services to all sizes of company.
Welcome, Debbie. What would you like to add or clarify in that intro?
I didn't realise it made me feel really old.
Sorry.
Even school is 17. I was doing the numbers in my head and I was like, oh my Lord, has it been that long?
I can relate to that. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
gloss over that, Debbie. You're as young as you feel.
I know, yeah. In January, I don't feel very young, I tell you that much.
No, with the weather as it is, nor do I. Anyway, I better talk about our sponsor because they are so important to us. And then we'll move on to the interview itself. But Pinnacle Global Group, fabulous sponsors. They are the trusted offshoring partner to over 150 accounting and bookkeeping firms across the UK and Ireland, led by London-based chartered accountant Mayank Pandya. They've got offices in London and Mumbai and a team of over 300 professionals, and they provide all kinds of services, compliance resourcing from accountants, bookkeepers and payroll admins to tax and audit associates. They also have the value-added support, including management accountants, virtual finance controllers, financial analysts, and more. They're GDPR compliant, ISO certified, covered by professional indemnity insurance, and offer flexible models, full-time, part-time, and pay-as-you-go. You can even start with a trial period or join their sponsored trip to Mumbai to meet the rest of the team in person. So to find out more, visit www.pinnacleoss.co.uk or click the link wherever you're listening to this podcast.
Also supporting the podcast is the Tax Advice Network. Their website enables accountants to choose specific specialist tax advisors for general tax support or for help across any of over 100 areas of tax. It's free to use. You just pay the tax advisor that you choose after agreeing terms with them, whether for ad hoc advice or a regular tax clinic type support service for your practice. Go take a look at their website, findatexadvisor.online, where you can also register to get their weekly tax tips, which are written especially for general practitioner accountants.
And finally, before we start, a reminder, you can support us and this podcast and get exclusive bonus content by subscribing on Patreon.
Just download the app, subscribe, and you'll get the bonus episodes through your usual podcast player. The details are in the show notes.
Good stuff. Let's get back to Debbie now. And the podcast is around 30 minutes and we have some key questions. Over to you.
Okay, so let's go back to the start, Debbie. How and why? Well, we normally ask, how did you come to set up your own accountancy practice? But your story is slightly different. So how did you how did you come to be at the firm and now running it?
So I went, well, obviously, as you said, I've been in accountancy since I left school at 17. I moved down to Cornwall from Cheshire in 2008 when I had my second child. And it was not I was employed down here as a practice manager, which didn't quite work out. So I was looking for something out, another practice manager role. And the position came up down in Penryn at the practice. It was a sole practitioner. So I came down, interviewed for the role, got the job. The only problem is it's miles away from home. So what I mean, it's an hour's round trip from home to the office.
Wow.
I'm in the office every day. So yeah, hence the early start in the mornings. So I became practice manager. I was practice manager from 2011 through to 2016.
And were you doing client work during that time?
I was doing a lot of client work, managing the staff. We've got a PLC client in London that we act for. So basically, I took all the whole admin and management of the PLC client because there's a lot of work, a lot of regulatory work involved in that as well.
Gotcha.
So I took over that, managing the staff, reviewing files, and more complex tax work because no one was able to do that in the practice. And then John, who was the sole practitioner, decided, I don't know what it is down here. Accountants tend to stay around for a lot longer than anywhere else in the country. Do you know what I mean? So John was in his 70s when I started.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's
So
fresh air and good living.
It is. They just don't want to retire down here. I don't know why, but so then in 2016, I became a partner. So I purchased 49% of the business. I was a partner for 3 years, and then John's health was not great, so he decided in 2019 that he was going to retire completely. So I purchased the rest of the business, and basically GW & Co Limited started in 2019, just before COVID. Great.
And did that impact working in the office or moving virtual at all?
Pre-COVID, I was in the office every single day, 5 days a week. COVID hit, and then we moved to remote, basically. So I now work remotely. I do longer hours. So I'm normally in the office for anywhere between 6 and half 6 in the morning through till 4 in the afternoon. And then I don't work a Friday. I've tried to step away on a Friday because I close the office at 3 anyway on a Friday. So the staff get a longer weekend. So it's a bit pointless. An hour here and an hour back. We're finishing at 3 on a Friday anyway. So I don't work on a Friday. I work remotely, normally a Tuesday, work from home, and another day if needed. So just to cut down the travelling time to and from the office. Because I can actually get more done at home, if I'm totally honest. By the time I get up, I lose that 2 hour travelling, which I basically work through till 5 o'clock when I'm at home anyway. So it's a longer time period working.
Very good. Very good.
And where do the clients tend to come from these days?
Since COVID, all over the place.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it's done remotely now, especially with cloud-based software and being able to use the likes of Xero and QuickBooks. A lot of it is all over the place.
Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
How do they find you then? Are they just searching randomly online, or have they been recommended to you? Or
a lot of most of our work comes through recommendation.
Yeah.
So do you know what I mean? People who've already worked with us recommend us to their clients, and then I focused a lot more in the last 12 months on our online presence. So basically our Google reviews. So what I mean, I don't even think it's 12 months. In the last 12 months, I would say we've gone from basically 5-star Google reviews to 30.
Brilliant.
So is that something you've asked for, or it's just been happening?
I asked for. It's something I don't like doing. But with getting a new website and new branding, it was basically imperative that I asked for it. and I was so surprised. You know what I mean? I actually cried by some of them because you don't realize what a big impact you actually have on people.
That's lovely.
When, do you know what I mean? When you are such, you just assume, yeah, okay, it's part of you get the accounts done, get the payroll done, get the VAT done. You don't actually realize what an impact you have on people's lives just by being at the end of an email or responding to emails and phone calls quickly. It has a big impact.
Yeah, great. So from 2019 then, when you took over,
Mm-hmm.
what did you expect? 2026 we're in now, aren't we? What did you expect it to look like? And is that, were your expectations met, or is it completely different? And we do have a question that's come in, which I shall ask in a minute as well. So
2012, well, 2020, do you know what I mean? We hit COVID. I hadn't even been in business. I'd just been in business, what, 6, 7, 8 months when COVID hit. And I made the decision. It was an easy decision to make. And if I had to make it again, I'd make it again, in that we stopped all direct debits. So anyone who was on most of our clients were on fixed fees. So anyone who was on a fixed fee, I stopped, because I couldn't sleep at night knowing I was still charging clients when most of them are closed down and we're not open for business. So we didn't charge for furlough payments. Do you know what I mean? I don't know any other accountant who didn't charge for furlough payments. So we did all the furlough claims free of charge. We did payroll free of charge. We did the little bit of bookkeeping and VAT returns that still had to go in free of charge. And we didn't charge for 3 months.
That will have generated a lot of goodwill, won't it?
And do you know what I mean? We've only lost one client since then. And yeah, was I glad to see the back of them? Yes, I was. So there we go. But and then when we hit winter lockdown again, I charged 50%. So I took a massive hit on my turnover in that year. But I couldn't sleep at night knowing that these people were struggling to pay rates and rent and everything else, and pay my accountancy fee when I could help them out.
So where are you now then? How would you sort of characterize the business now? Is it kind of what you expected it to be? Because obviously you've gone through the pain of COVID and stuff, and you know.
It's do you know what I mean? Our turnover's doubled since then. We're growing all the time. But the biggest thing for us is obviously the changes in tax legislation, software, just basically everything's changing at the drop of a hat, which means you've got to be so much more on top of it to keep everything flowing.
And that's it. This is where this question, I've been asked here, what one thing feels way easier now than it did a few years ago? So I guess that could be around the tech, but
it is around the tech. Do you know what I mean? It's the thing is, there's that much software out there. It's what you choose, what you actually pick, do you know what I mean? Trying to find the time to actually go through this software. I spent during Christmas and New Year checking to see whether or not there was a better software out there than what we were using, and what would entail, what would the cost be. So it's basically keeping constantly on top of the tech side of thing, and anti-money laundering, making sure that all that is tied up. And do you know what I mean? We used to ask for paper passports and paper photocopies of passports. It's all done online now, so we use an online portal. So just making sure that all the boxes are ticked and on that side of thing is kept up to date is the biggest thing. And just looking and seeing whether or not the biggest thing is change. You know what I mean? We changed software in 2020 because my payroll person decided to leave mid-COVID, and I made the big decision that I wasn't going to replace them. I was going to outsource. So I outsourced on my payroll because we have an awful lot of payroll. So and it was left that if the payroll person wasn't in, whether it be sickness or holiday, it was left to me. And I thought, I do not want to be doing payroll.
No, gosh.
So we outsource. All of our payroll is outsourced. So that was a big shift away from actually having an in-house payroll person. And just keeping abreast of what's new out there, really, and seeing whether or not there's
That's a
something
full-time
we can
job,
do.
isn't it?
Yeah. You remind me of one of our previous interviewees. Don't know if you can remember who it was, Philippa, who makes a point of whenever she gets approached or hears about new software, she makes a note, but she only reviews and considers changing, switching, or adopting new software, I think in February each year, just once a year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh, I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm pretty
But
sure.
that sounds like a good system, doesn't
I
it?
have
Yeah.
got a reminder in my calendar to review in February, because that's the only time.
Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? And our software licenses expire in December, so I think we've got to give them 60 days notice anyway.
I was going to say, yeah, in the Sole Practice Club, when members have been talking about their different approaches to software and taking on new software, the biggest complaint is they make a decision and then realise they're stuck with what they had for another 2 or 3 months, and then trying to make sure that if they're making multiple changes, it can all happen. It sounds like a nightmare for everybody. So,
well, last time we moved, do you know what I mean? We were lucky enough. We had a 6-month free period.
Yeah.
So that we had that 6-month free period to do all our moving across and our integration, and then we were ready to go when we got started charging. It was just I did it, most of it, and I thought, I'm not doing it again.
No,
It was just getting all that migration done across, so that everything's right and we're up and ready to go.
Well, in fact, in that part of our conversation, we've started answering my next question, which is, what have you learned along the way, part of your journey, that's helped you get where you are now and that others can learn from too?
Keep on top of the stuff, do you know what I mean? And down here, it's still, quite a lot of it is still done paper. So do you know what I mean? You'll get professional clearance letters through an email, or do you know what I mean, through the post, and do you know what I mean? All ours are done electronically. It's just can I mention software's names, or am I not?
By all means, yeah.
So I think the biggest thing for us was moving away from Iris. We moved away from Iris in 2020 to Digita. So Digita is I like a practice suite, so everything's all integrated.
Yep.
So we moved to Digita, and whether or not I'm going to stay with them or not is what I'm looking at in February.
Yeah.
And then we integrated Client Engager into the practice last year, which has been an absolute godsend.
Yeah.
Just basically from bulk emails and keeping a track and keeping clients up to date.
And because of their integration with TaxCalc, you're looking at whether to stay.
Yes. Yes. So hence the February appointment. Yeah. So that is a big thing. Is the integration and trying to make sure that all the software is integrated, because obviously that cuts down the time.
I think that's a really crucial point, that certainly for practices maybe earlier in their gestation development, recognizing that when you are seduced by some new software, making sure it's going to talk and integrate with everything else you've got. And
I mean, is there a strategy there in terms of what you need to happen before you look out that side there, or is it much more of a knee jerk?
No, it's not a knee jerk. It's the fact that, do you know what I mean? We use Client Engager. Client Engager doesn't integrate with Digita. So it's basically trying to find a software that integrates with Client Engager, which takes away the duplication we've got at the moment, of making sure that we haven't missed everything, that all the client's information is on our practice management system. We use Client Engager for managing jobs, for doing the engagement letters, sending out client emails. So, but I want that integrated into our practice management software, so that at the moment our admin person's doing a bit of duplication, which I don't like. I don't see the point in duplication.
No, absolutely.
So
that's another lesson I think worth sharing, is picking up on where there is duplication, where people are doing things more than once, or I mean, the historic one, which is still an issue for many practices, is when a client notifies you of change of address. Yeah. Is there a way of only having to input it once rather than into 3 or 4 different places?
Yeah.
And what tends to happen is we go, well, not many of our clients are moving that often, so let's not worry about it. But it does eventually get to the stage where you go, what else are we duplicating?
Yeah, and chances are you'll miss something. Do you know what I mean? You'll update it in one or two places and forget the one there, and then the client will come back. I told you we moved house and you haven't. Well, yeah, unfortunately, sorry, we missed that one. Which is, it's all about as much integration as you possibly can, so that you're not duplicating, and you're streamlining your processes, so that, do you know what I mean, people are not wasting time doing things that they really do not need to do.
Yeah. So
absolutely right.
just going back to the sort of practice manager, moving on to, owner, what have you learned in terms of, other like people skills or management skills, or, because it's different from being a
It's a
practice
different,
manager where you are herding cats, and sort of making sure everything's done, to actually being the head honcho, and there is more of a sense of responsibility, isn't there? How
there is, and do you know what I mean? I had major issues with one member of staff when I moved from being the practice manager to partner. He was used to basically, because I wasn't in charge, I couldn't really do anything about it. But he was used to going out for lunch whenever he wanted, taking a little bit longer for his lunch and everything else. And the way he spoke to me was still basically as if I was an employee. So trying to get that mindset into the employees that you already had with you, that actually, no, actually I employ you now.
How did you do that? Because I've moved from team member to head of team, and it was really difficult. So what did you learn? What was your approach to sorting it out?
To sort it out ASAP. I let it drag on a little bit too long, and then obviously you've got the issue of well, hang on a minute, this is what's been happening for the last 2 months. Why should it? Do you know what I mean? Is broach the subject before it actually happens. So basically sit down with the team and explain what's going to happen, and explain how your roles are changing, and what the impact of that is on them and you, because it's hard for you. Do you know what I mean? I don't like conflict. Do you know what I mean?
No.
I will back away from conflict if I can get away with it. As a business owner, it becomes a bit more difficult to back away from conflict if it arises. But it's getting that across as soon as you possibly can before it becomes a necessity.
Yeah, I think that's really important.
That was a great question, Philippa, and a very important, insightful reply, Debbie. I remember one of the things that a lot of people find when they qualify with a firm and stay there is the risk of always being seen as the junior that they were when they started. And it's one of the reasons why a number of people move firms once they qualify, to sort of overcome that. And
it does. And you know what I mean? It's when I remember when I qualified ACCA, and the automatic assumption is, oh, you've qualified, you'll get a pay rise. And unfortunately, that's not the case, because do you know what I mean? You can do exactly the same job today as you did yesterday. You just got a qualification after your name. And a lot of firms see that, well, you're not bringing any more into the firm, so why should I give you a pay rise? So that's why a lot of people move.
Absolutely.
Once they qualify, is because the pay rise that you expect, unless you're in a really big firm, where it's automatically processed through. Do you know what I mean? As soon as you qualify, you will leap up the banding in the smaller firms, and I think that's why it's so hard on a lot of smaller firms, is that you spent the time and the resources actually getting this person through their exams, and then as soon as you qualify, boom, they're gone. And then you've got to go through the whole employment issues again of trying to find somebody else.
It's a conversation I have with a lot of sole practitioners about whether or not they really want trainees, or whether to outsource that work because of those sorts of challenges. I mean, giving a reward or a congratulatory one-off award or prize or present or whatever is completely different to an ongoing pay rise. I think you're absolutely right. Have you deliberately kept your team quite quite niche and small, because looking at your website, you're women of a certain age plus a younger male.
Oh, you're getting yourself into all kinds of trouble.
You
now.
are getting yourself. You're digging yourself a big hole here.
Oh, I do apologise. I certainly didn't mean to.
Emma's been with me for 11 years. I'm more about, because we are a small practice, that person's got to fit in with our personalities before I even look at whether 100%. Or not they can do the job. Because if they don't fit in with our personalities and are able to cope with us, do you know what I mean? It gets quite, well, you know what's like in the accountancy practice, especially in December and January. They've got to be able to fit in with our sense of humour. Do you know what I mean? I'm from Liverpool, so they've got to fit in with my sense of humour, Emma's sense of humour. And because if they don't, then you're just causing friction.
Absolutely.
So it's got nothing to do with their sex or their age or anything else. No, we just gel.
I get that. And the younger guy who's doing doing the practice work obviously has the right fit from a personality perspective. Is he?
Harry came to me. My eldest daughter was doing a placement. She's doing geology over at Portsmouth, so she did a placement down here for 12 months. Came home last year, but unfortunately the firm folded. And Harry was doing his admin apprenticeship.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I'm looking for an admin person. Would he be interested? So yeah, he came for an interview. He's now studying for his AAT. He wants to study for his AAT.
Lovely.
So he might well be moving over. And then I might well be looking for somebody of a certain age to replace. On the
always free.
Side of things.
I realise I shouldn't have made assumptions by virtue of the photos on the website.
Let's move on and say what mistakes have you made? I mean, given Mark's mistake now. No, I'm joking, Mark. Are there any things that you've learned? Yeah.
I'm a softie at heart. Do you know what I mean? It's we had a lady who worked with us on the admin side of things a couple of years ago, and it was I don't know why, but I always go for a sob story, and the last two ladies we've had on the admin side had sob stories, and I took them on. And with hindsight, I will not be taking anybody else on with sob stories ever again, because you know what I mean.
How did that impact the?
Well, the first lady basically got furloughed during COVID, and was basically at home for whatever it was, 3 or 4 months. When we were allowed to bring everybody, I was working at home on my own. I furloughed the staff because all the work had dried up and such. I furloughed the staff, and then when we were allowed to basically open again, I brought the staff back in, apart from her, because obviously the admin work was not. So she basically had, I think it was about an extra 2 months working, well, not working at home, while everybody else was back in the office. And the first question I got back off when on her first day back was, when do I get my pay rise?
Oh, geez.
Because pay rises were automatic, well, normally done in April, and obviously she was being furloughed. And I was like, are you taking the mick? Do you know what I mean? You've been at home getting paid while everybody else has been in here working the socks off to try and get everything out. And the first question back is, no, so needless to say, do you know what I mean? It was, she went shortly after that. And then the other lady was, it was like Groundhog Day every day. It was like, she'd go home and have a brain wipe. Do you know what I mean? She couldn't remember how to do her letters. She couldn't remember how to, she's struggling to answer the phone. And I thought it had an impact on not just me, because it was really infuriating after a while, but everybody else in the office, because they were having to pick up the slack that she wasn't able as an admin person to do. So I made the decision that no, I'm not doing that again. Do you know what I mean? They've got to be fit for purpose in a way. Do you know what I mean? They've got to be able to do the job, and because otherwise, if they don't fit and they're not able to do the job that you're employing them for, firstly, you're paying them, and secondly, it has a major impact on everybody else in the team, because they've got to pick up the slack that they're not doing. So that was one thing I've definitely learned.
Okay, cool. We've got another question about AI, but we're not going to ask that now, because in the Patreon part we will be talking extensively about current challenges and thoughts around the UK accounting firms and sort of market, but also AI and the integration. So we'll leave that. So if you do want to know about that, you'll need to sign up to Patreon.
Excellent. Well
Yes.
done.
Thank you. But yeah, we're probably coming to the end as well.
Yes, I was going to say, yeah, having heard everything Debbie shared there, and just before I ask her to share her contact details, what would you say makes Debbie's firm, Debbie, unique and successful? What are the factors that have led to that, do you think?
Well, I mean, I think we've talked a lot about tech, so and less about the kind of the story and the journey of Debbie. So I'd probably need to delve a bit more into that. But I would say my perception is that you are kind of very down to earth, Debbie. You know, obviously having been a project
Practice
manager, sorry, and then moved. You're probably very hands-on and kind of so, and also from Cheshire and stuff, which you know, us up there, we're very direct and kind of straightforward. So I suspect that anybody dealing with you and that business kind of picks that up. So yeah,
you do, and it's just it's caring about people.
Exactly.
It's caring about people and their business. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, their business, but at the end of the day, it's their business. They've sweated blood, sweat and tears over this business, sleepless nights and everything else. So it's been that person who they can. Do you know what I mean? I had a client email me at 11:02 the other night. I didn't answer it because I was in bed because I have an early start. But do you know what I mean? As soon as I was in the office at 6:15, I was emailing him back because he needs an answer there and then. Do you know what I mean? It's taken the time to actually respond to clients. Do you know what I mean? We respond within 24 hours. If you email me today, you'll get a response today, even if it's, I don't know, I'll find out and I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Because you can't run your business any other way, and that's changed since COVID. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people want answers now. Do you know what I mean? They want to know, can they buy that piece of equipment? Can they? Do you know what I mean? I had a new guy in yesterday, prospecting yesterday, and he's like, well, I've got money in my bank and I'm coming up to the year end. My current accountant's told me to look at my P&L account. Yeah. Well, are you making pension payments? No, he's told me I can't make pension payments from my limited company. Well, yes, you can. And it's getting the right advice, and it's getting timely advice. Do you know what I mean? So that you can make those business decisions. That do you know what I mean? I took a new client on last year, and they were paying extortionate amount of accountancy fees. And when I came to it, one of the directors is 61. I said, have you got a personal pension? No. Well, why haven't you been paying pension payments from the limited company? Oh, because he's never told me I can.
Jesus.
And you're just like,
you hear stories like that, and your heart goes out to these poor people who've been running their business, and they haven't. This is part of the problem with the whole compliance versus advisory. Yeah, it's part and parcel of how you operate, is to give clients basic, straightforward, commercial, sensible, caring advice. And it doesn't matter what you call it. That's actually what clients want from their accountants.
Clients don't just want their accounts. Sign your accounts, off you go. And he said to me, do you know what I mean? Because he was quite aggressive when it was the first time I'd met him. Yeah. And he said, well, how far can I go back? I said, well, you can roll forward 3 years. I said, I can't advise on pensions because I'm not a pension advisor, but I can tell you that you could roll forward 3 years and you can make pension contributions from the limited company. I said, you need to speak to a pension. Do you know what I mean? He was on the phone to a pension advisor as soon as I was out the door, and he started. I said, I don't know whether or not it's worthwhile because you are the age you are. You need to speak to a pension advisor to see whether or not it is worthwhile, or there are other options for you to get the money out of the business to basically provide for your pension. I said, and then, do you know what I mean? They'd got an outside loan from a member of the family, which was due to be paid within 10 years. I went, oh, how are you paying this? You're 61. You're not going to get another loan in 10 years' time to repay this £100,000. And he went, I've no idea. It hadn't even been discussed with the previous accountant who'd set the loan up. So now they've got a savings account which they pay the money into every month. I said, unfortunately, you're going to get taxed on the interest, but at least you've got a payment plan in place to repay this loan when it falls due.
It's so sad when you hear about these accountants who've been dealing with the compliance paperwork, but without thinking about talking to clients about the advice that they need. You're a shining example.
And lasting power of attorneys. Lasting power of attorney. Do you know what I mean? The amount of people who do not understand or get the complexity, how important the financial lasting power of attorney is. Do you know what I mean? So you're a sole director on this limited company. Yeah, who's on the bank mandate? Me. So you go out of here and have a car crash and end up in a coma. Who's going to run your business for you? My wife. Well, she won't be able to because she's not got a lasting power of attorney in place. Your bank account will get frozen. You can see the look of horror on the faces. You're like, did your previous accountant not mention lasting power? No.
Not wishing to keep you too long, I think this is a perfect opportunity to say you can hear what Debbie brings to the table. So Debbie, if somebody's listening to this and thinks this is the type of accountant I want, how's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Well, you can go on our website and see our selection of middle-aged women who work for me.
I didn't say that.
No, I said it for you. So it's our website is just gwaccountants.co.uk. We're in Penryn. Or drop us an email, info@gwaccountants.co.uk. But you'll find me all over social media. Do you know what I mean? You can link with me on LinkedIn and see the wonderful posts I put out. But you just search us, you'll find us. We're based in Penryn.
Love it. That's glorious, Debbie. Thank you. And in our bonus interview for Patreon subscribers only, we'll ask you to talk about the biggest challenges that you're currently facing, how you're addressing them, and how you're integrating AI into your practice. But before that, Philippa, how can listeners find out more about you?
Just find me on LinkedIn. And if you are interested in working out what makes you unique and your individual story that is going to be displayed with your brand and your website and all of your marketing, then do get in touch with me. It's all about finding your ideal client at the end of the day and adding value, which is really unique to you. And Mark, what about you?
Well, you can find me at Bookmark Lee. Even my business card is a bookmark. Running a practice can feel lonely even when things look fine. If you want clarity, better clients, or calmer days, or just somebody to bounce opportunities, ideas, and challenges with, discuss them, I'm always happy to talk. No pressure ever. Do please connect with both Philippa and me on LinkedIn, and follow the podcast on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Patreon.
Yeah, that's all we have time for today on the main podcast. Thanks again, Debbie, but don't go anywhere because we shall continue. But we must thank our sponsor, Pinnacle Global Group, the trusted outsourcing partner. Do check out their website and let their CEO, Mike, know that you heard about them through the podcast.
Yeah, and thanks to the Tax Advice Network, the easiest way for accountants to reach specialist tax advisors. Remember, there's no charge for using the website findataxadvisor.online, where you can also access their weekly tax tips written especially for general practitioner accountants.
So if you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, share and leave a review. It makes a real difference. And also contact myself or Mark if you'd like to be interviewed on a future podcast in 2026.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Philippa. Thanks again to Debbie. Been a wonderful guest. Next week, our guest will be Sam Draper, the SML business accountant based in London. Before then, we're going to get further insights from Debbie for our Patreon subscribers. If you're not yet a subscriber, head over to patreon.com/accountants success secret, singular, don't ask. That's where you'll hear about the biggest challenges currently facing Debbie and her approach, and also about AI. But otherwise, until next week or anywhere else we might meet online or in real life, good luck for the rest of January and bye-bye for now.
See you next week.